नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतेरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। 325:31 मैत्रेय उवाच विदित्वार्थं कपिलो मातुरित्थं जातस्नेहो यत्र तन्वाभिजाताः तत्त्वाम्नायं यत् प्रवदन्ति सांख्यं प्रोवाच वै भक्तिवितानयोगम्. Sri Maitreya said, after hearing the statement of his mother, Kapila could understand her purpose and he became compassionate towards her because of being born of her body. He described the Sankhya system of philosophy, which is a combination of devotional service and mystic realization, meaning Ashtanga Yoga plus Bhakti, as received by disciplic succession. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Devanam Gunalinganam Anushravika Karmanam Sattva Evaika Manaso Vritti Swabhavikittuya Animitta Bhagavati Bhakti Siddher Gariyasi. Lord Kapila said the senses are symbolic representations of demigods, and their natural inclination is to work under the direction of the Vedic injunctions. As the senses are representatives of the demigods, so the mind is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The mind's natural duty is to serve. When that service spirit is engaged in devotional service to the Personality of Godhead without any motive, that is far better even than salvation. Bhakti Siddher Gariyasi. Bhakti Siddhi is salvation. Gariyasi means better. So please remember this. The senses are symbolic representations of demigods. Mind is representative of Supreme Person of Godhead. So natural inclination of the senses is to work under the direction of Vedic injunctions, and natural duty is to serve. And how that service has to be? Devotional service without any motive, that is far better than salvation. Now here, actually this without any motive is not necessarily there in the verse, but bhakti by definition, by default, when we say bhakti is kevala bhakti. So I've explained this many multiple times. So there is Shuddha Bhakti and there is Mishra Bhakti. Uh, what is the, where do Mishra Bhaktas go? What is the destination of Mishra Bhaktas? Where do Mishra Bhaktas go? Any idea?
Heaven, Prabhuji,
Heaven,
heaven.
heaven, yeah. Mishra Bhaktas go to heaven. Okay, so if one does Mishra Bhakti, one ends up in heaven. If one does Kevala Bhakti, he goes to Krishna. So Bhagavatam is not talking about Mishra Bhakti at all. Our acharyas don't talk about Mishra Bhakti at all. It's a lower grade of Bhakti. It's for those who are attached to Gnana and Karma. Those who are attached to Karma will do Karma Mishra Bhakti. Those who are attached to Gnana will do Gnana Mishra Bhakti. So Karma Mishra Bhakti normally is heaven, right? And that is why Prabhupada actually said most devotees in ISKCON will go to heaven, because most devotees will end up doing Karma Mishra Bhakti. So yesterday I was talking to someone and I told them saying that first decide what what your goal is. Where do you want to go? You want to go to heaven, enjoy material opulence, or you want to go to Krishna? Hmm? So if you want to go to Krishna, what is the process? What process should we adopt between Mishra Bhakti and Kevala Bhakti? Hmm? If you want to go to Krishna, what should we do? Mishra Bhakti or Kevala Bhakti?
Kerala.
Kevala Bhakti. So it's a very straightforward thing. Mishra Bhakti will take us to heaven. Kevala Bhakti will take us to Krishna. So if our life's goal is heaven, then we can do Mishra Bhakti. If our life goal is Krishna, by doing Mishra Bhakti, we will not achieve Krishna. And then we might end up going to heaven, and then if you're fortunate, then we'll continue Bhakti, and it's like, don't know, just risky proposition, right? So safest is to do Kevala Bhakti. And Kevala Bhakti means Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. No other desire. No other desire but to please only Krishna. Right? No other desire but to please only Krishna. Then everything that we do in our life, we have to see, okay, is this pleasing to Krishna? Is this not pleasing to Krishna? Is this pleasing to Krishna? Not pleasing to Krishna? Simple. Anukulyasa sankalpa pratikulyasa varjanam. That is surrender. So if you are doing light sense gratification, what is light sense gratification? Like, I want to eat outside food, let me eat Jain food. Light sense gratification. It's not gross sense, it's not like heavy sense gratification, but light, but it falls into the category of Mishra Bhakti. Also, whatever our material desires, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. To whatever extent it is not connected to Krishna, it is Mishra Bhakti. And these propensities, we have to purify them. Some devotees are very fortunate. They have absolutely no material desires at all whatsoever. Not even like inkling. Very fortunate souls. They made tremendous progress, and they now come and got fixed to in Kevala Bhakti. But for many of us, maybe we are not there already, but we need to get there. So by hearing about it again and again, we understand, saying that this is what it has to, what we need to do, and slowly, steadily, we should uh, practice with utsaha, nishchaya, dhairya. Utsaha, that enthusiasm needs to be there. I want to get there. Why I want to get there? Because I want to achieve Krishna. Otherwise, I can't achieve Krishna. I can be attached to material possessions in this world, right? I can be attached to my clothes. I can be attached to my ornaments for Matajis. I can be attached to vehicles for Prabhus. I can be attached to money for anybody. I can be attached to relations for anybody. So then we will remain here. So that is why Prabhupada is clearly given here, saying that it is without any motive. Because by definition, bhakti means Kevala Bhakti. By definition, bhakti means no abhilasha apart from serving Krishna, apart from pleasing Krishna. The senses of the living entity are always engaged in some occupation, either in activities prescribed in the injunctions of the Vedas or in material activities. A natural inclination of the senses is to work for something, and the mind is the center of the senses. The mind is actually the leader of the senses, therefore it is called sattva. Similarly, the leader of all demigods who are engaged in the activities of this material world, meaning like the sun god, moon god, Indra, etc. Their leader is the supreme person of Godhead. So the senses are representative of the demigods, and mind is representative of Krishna. And mind is the leader of the senses, just like Krishna is the leader of all demigods. So both mind and senses have to be engaged in the service of Krishna, because he is the boss. It is stated in the Vedic literature that the demigods are different limbs of the universal body of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Our senses are also controlled by different demigods. Our senses are representations of various demigods, and the mind is the representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So our senses are controlled by different demigods based on our previous karma. Mm. The senses led by the mind act under the influence of the demigods. When the service is ultimately aimed at the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the senses are in their natural position. The Lord is called Rishikesha, but he is actually the proprietor and ultimate master of the senses. Mm. So it's in one sense, we can understand because of our previous karma, because of our previous material desires, we our senses get dragged in different directions. Now this is because of the previous contamination we've had. Now, fortunately, we are in bhakti now. We're in touch with Krishna, and bhakti is so powerful that even though the senses are under the influence of demigods and get pushed in that direction, by doing bhakti, because bhakti is done to please Rishikesha, who is the master of the senses, that influence of the demigods will reduce. That is why this process is very, very powerful. Traigunya Vishaveda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. We can transcend the senses, transcend the material platform because we are worshipping Rishikesha, who is the master of the senses, who is master of the modes. So many times because devotees say, no, no, I'm being helplessly driven. No, that's not for devotees. That's for karmis who don't have any understanding of really any knowledge. Devotees can't say that I am being driven helplessly. No, we because we understand saying that I'm not helpless. I'm in the Krishna is there with me, so I'm not helpless. But I'm willingly wanting to do that, so my senses are being dragged in certain direction. We have to remember this always. If the senses of a devotee is running in some direction, that means that the devotee wants that. Right? He is not using his free will. He should use his free will and say, no, I don't want this because this is not pleasing to Krishna. Then the influence of the demigods on those senses and that pushing vegam, vacho vegam, manasakrodha vegam, jibha vegam, all that vega, all that pushing will stop. But because we are actually willingly going in that direction, then what can stop us? So we should always remember, don't blame it on senses, don't blame it on demigods, don't blame it on karma. This is not for devotees. For devotees who are surrendered to Krishna, whatever it is, you just turn towards Krishna and say, Krishna, please help me. I'm pushing from my previous karma. Uh, then Krishna will help. Lord is called Rishikesha, for he is actually the proprietor and ultimate master. So he is the ultimate master. So if we just go turn towards him, then he will help us. The senses and the mind are naturally inclined to work, but when they are materially contaminated, they work for some material benefit or for the service of the demigods. Although actually they are meant to serve the Supreme Person of Godhead. So this serving demigods is not required. The worshipping demigods is not required, right? Because anyway, those demigods are in different limbs of the universal body of Krishna. So this contaminated. Working for demigods, worshipping demigods means contaminated condition. Means there's some material benefit. Although actually they are meant to serve the Supreme Person of Godhead. So our senses, our body, our mind, everything should be used simply only to serve Supreme Person of Godhead. The senses are called Rishika and the Supreme Person of Godhead is called Rishikesha. Indirectly, all the senses are naturally inclined to serve the Supreme Lord. That is called bhakti. Right? So we have to decide whether we want to let our contaminated senses work for our material benefits or to serve demigods, or whether we want them to serve the Supreme Person of Godhead. It is our decision. Right? It's our decision. Mm. Ideally, we should not let anybody push us in a wrong direction, isn't it? So we have to be careful about this. Kapiladev said that when the senses without desire for material profit or other selfish motives, uh, material profit or other selfish motives are engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is situated in devotional service. See clearly, Prabhupada is just, you know, emphasizing that devotional service means Kevala Bhakti. That spirit of service is far better than Siddhi, salvation. Bhakti, the inclination to serve Supreme Personality of Godhead, is in a transcendental position far better than Mukti or liberation. Means Bhakti is transcendental. Transcendental means Kevala, Kevala Bhakti. Mishra is not transcendental. Mishra is still on the material platform. And that is why we end up in going to Swarga. Unless one is liberated, one cannot engage the senses in the service of the Lord. Muktirhitva. Mukti means what? Muktirhitva anyata rupam swarupena vyavasthiti. Mukti means just being situated in the service of the Lord. Brahmabhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. So unless we have come to Brahmabhuta stage, we can't come to the pure devotion. That doesn't mean that till then we keep doing Mishra Bhakti. And that just means till then we are aspiring to do Shuddha Bhakti. And when we achieve Brahmabhuta, we actually end up in Shuddha Bhakti and very soon end up in Krishna Prema. So Brahmabhuta Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. For a Gnani, who is come through the Gnana process, he will come to Bhakti only after Brahmabhuta. For a devotee who is engaged in devotional service already, if he is trying to practice Shuddha Bhakti, then liberation will come automatically en route. En route, liberation will come. And then he will be completely fixed in pure devotional service, because then his whole perception about this body, material consciousness will be gone. So till then, whatever was disturbing him from completely doing Shuddha Bhakti will now stop disturbing him. So he will be achala, like fixed in pure devotion. Till then he's practicing pure devotion, but sometimes because of anarthas, etc., he will go down, again come up, right? But when that process continues, because he is practicing bhakti, that those anarthas keep reducing, become almost zero, anartha nivrutti, then he will come to liberation, Brahmabhuta. When the senses are engaged either in material activities of sense gratification or in the activities of the Vedic injunctions, there is some motive. But when the same senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, then and there is no motive, that is called animitta. Nimitta means reason. Animitta means without reason. And is the natural inclination of the mind. The conclusion is that when the mind, without being deviated either by Vedic injunctions or by material activities, is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness or devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is far better than the most aspired for liberation from material entanglement. So, like yesterday, some devotees were asking, tomorrow is Shivaratri. Should we worship Shiva? I said we don't have to worship Shiva. We can just pray to Shiva. That's good enough for us. Right? We can pray to anybody for that matter. That we can come to pure devotion. But we don't have to worship. Because worship will go in a different direction. And Prabhupada, that is why very clearly he said, like Krishna himself says, Avidi Purvakam. We should not worship demigods. Worship is only for the Supreme Lord. We can pray to Shiva, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambho. But we should not engage in any kind of demigod worship, because it just shows that we are not surrendered to Krishna. If you're surrendered to Krishna and Krishna is promising, I'll protect you, why we are doubtful? Yesterday I was discussing some speculation. Okay, let me put this question now to devotees. When should we stop demigod worship? When should we stop demigod worship? Hare
Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna.
If you fully engage with Krishna consciousness and you have no time, then how you will go demigod?
No, what is that? Your voice is breaking again, Prabhu.
No, you fully engage. You have to fully engage with Krishna.
Fully engage in Krishna consciousness, okay?
Then we should not time to go any other
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat.
Dandavat, Pranam. When you realize that, you don't need to ask for more sense gratification and you need to stop for it and go on to a higher taste of wanting to be with Krishna, then you stop worshipping demigods.
Okay. Any other thought?
Prabhu, when we accept Krishna as a supreme personality.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. When we accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when we are wholly and solely dependent on Him. I was being told, saying that no, till you get initiated, you should you should not stop demigod worship. So I was like, where is all this speculation coming from? Who said? Has anybody said saying that till initiation you have to worship demigods? Some very wrong ideas, right? So yeah, that is the answer. When you just accept that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is all in all, I'm just depending on Him. I'm just dependent on Him. Over. Actually, irrespective, Krishna says, Akama Sarva Kama Moksha Kama Udarati. Even if you have material desires, Krishna is saying, come to me. We don't have to go to anybody else as soon as we realize that, oh, no, Krishna is everything. Krishna is Sarvasva. Krishna is all powerful. Then end all demigod worship. We don't have to go to anybody. It's a very simple thing. And it doesn't require us to, there is no exam to pass for this or like that, right? Like, it's not like it happens after initiation. No. It's a very simple thing. It's the state of mind. Surrender is a state of mind. And when that mind is completely surrendered to Krishna, depending on Krishna in all situations, then we just stop going to demigods. Then we stop worshipping demigods. There's some other misconception that, if we stop worshipping demigods, they're going to get angry with us. Will demigods get angry with us if we stop worshipping them?
From childhood, we're accepting someone. Suddenly, we will change. Both we can do like this. We will accept Krishna, but in other way, how will deny?
नहीं समझ में नहीं आया प्रभु आपका इंटरनेट बहुत इज नॉट गुड आधा आधा सुनाई दे रहा है
नहीं मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि हम बचपन से एक को पूजा कर रहे हैं इसमें पूजा नहीं प्यार कर रहे हैं तो कैसे छोड़ सकते हैं वही
नहीं आप बोल रहे कि आप हम बचपन से कुछ डेमिगॉड्स को वर्शिप कर रहे तो कैसे छोड़ सकते हैं
हाँ करेक्ट
नहीं ऐसे कुछ नहीं वो तो अज्ञान में कर रहे थे हम वी डिडंट नो I mean, if we see, then if we have some pyar say we are worshipping some demigods, why are we coming to Krishna? Right? And if we have so much pyar to the demigod, actually the demigod would have got you to Krishna and then now accept Krishna, no? Anyway, which is fine. If you are attached to some demigod, now then you have to really think, saying that am I in Krishna consciousness or the demigod consciousness? Because both are different. Right, so then it's then each individual person has to figure out saying that what should I do, as in, because Krishna is everything. Why do I have to do anything else?
जैसे हम पिता माता को छोड़ नहीं सकते हैं
नहीं पिता माता को छोड़ नहीं सकते because that is they've given us birth. And it is our responsibility to take care of them. But then when somebody becomes a brahmachari, he leaves his pitamata also. Because Krishna consciousness is sarvadharman parityaja. Right? So if somebody comes in between us and Krishna, then I mean Krishna is saying topmost platform is you can reject anybody for that matter. But normal course of duty, so we will take care of them. But if suppose parents come in between us and Krishna, what will we do? We don't then say, no, for parents, I'm going to give up Krishna. Then we should try to convince parents to also become Krishna conscious. See, but demigods are just administrators, right? So they are part and parcel of Krishna. they'll also be happy. Devashi Bhutaptanadam Pitranam. So whatever obligation we have towards demigods, when we worship Krishna, they're also happy. They're not going to get upset with us. They're happy because they know that, you're now worshipping my boss. I'm very happy about that. Why will demigods be upset if you worship Krishna? It's only our attachment, that's all.
Then how I'll go direct boss? First we have to go through by this.
Yeah, because boss is saying that it is avidhi purvakam. So Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, saying demigod worship is avidhi purvakam. He doesn't accept. He doesn't like his devotees to go and do demigod worship because demigods are lower than him. So he's saying, you have come to do Krishna bhakti, and then you are going now. You have come to the prime minister. You have a personal relationship with the prime minister. Now suddenly you are going to some chief minister, some home minister, some this minister, that minister. Prime minister saying, "अरे बाबा मैं हूँ ना, क्यों ऐसे धक्का खा के ऐसे घूम रहे हो? Why are you like loitering around, going to different demigods? You come to me already, and I've accepted you. What is your problem?" Right? So if you don't come to Krishna, then the path is through demigods. Then demigods will worship demigods because otherwise we'll become atheists. So we worship demigods and we consider saying that okay, there is some higher power. Then we worship them, and then slowly we transition from demigod worship in the mode of tamoguna to rajoguna to satvaguna. And when we come to satvaguna, we start worshipping Vishnu. But that worship of Vishnu will be official, like just like any other demigods. But when we come to do actually service to just please Krishna or Vishnu, that becomes bhakti. So demigod worship will pave the way to bhakti. But once you come to bhakti, we don't have to go down to a lower status, right? It's like I came to engineering, now I'm going back again to 10th standard. Not required, right? Yeah, Rohini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad.
Yes, Prabhu. Actually, like before coming to Krishna consciousness, we used to worship Mother Durga as like our home deity, and also Lord Govinda. So my mom says sometimes like you forgot to do like the basic things. It's okay, like now we know Krishna is the supreme person, and they are all like working under them. So is it okay like to continue those offerings, but offer Krishna first and then do the
No,
in
but
the mode of like
I mean, that just shows that we are not completely surrendered because Krishna is saying that no need to worship. See,
No, we are not worshipping. It's like, and special days, like, they do offer, like, some items and they do puja like this. Like, if we don't do that, like, they feel like, we are odd man out. And I mean, it's like, we shouldn't show them, it's like totally away from everything. So, how to, like,
But
how
why?
to adjust
But
that?
why? I mean, you come to Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is totally away from everything only, na?
Yeah, I'm not able to frame my words, Prabhu, but like my mom, she
No, I
chants and
understand.
she does all these things
Oh,
because
no.
I mean
No, that's fine.
it's
That's fine.
not.
As in,
She knows that Krishna is the supreme person. Like when Ganpati festival comes, like they offer these things like that. So
no,
not able
but
to.
it's not just about offering. No, it's not just about food. It's not
Yeah,
about just bhoga, right? Then you will do
right,
puja. Then what is that puja? That puja is completely Martha Vidhi. It is for Dharma Artha Kama.
right.
We don't understand the mantras. No, what are those mantras actually saying?
No, they don't read any mantras. They just do like Deepa and then
But
Arati and then
but that's not even Vedic, that's what like Arjuna asked Krishna saying that many people are stuck to some processes which are not even vidhi, but they are doing it with faith. What is their position? Are they in Satvaguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna? So we should read this chapter like about faith, right? 17th chapter Krishna answers,
right,
right? So this is not even vidhi. I mean, see, if you want to do some demigod worship, there's a process. That
right.
process is given in the Vedas,
Okay,
and you have to follow that process.
right, right,
Now, if you don't follow that process, but you're doing your own process, then you're neither here nor there. Neither are you pleasing the demigods because demigods are not going to please you. You're taking a shortcut to the worship.
right,
And demigods are not in this mood saying Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati, right?
right, right,
They want you to follow Vidhi because it's all Vedic.
right.
Demigod worship is completely Vedic injunction. So that is why at the end we say, like Pujari will say, Keshavaya Nama, Madhavaya Govinda. They're
Yes,
chanting
every end
Govinda's
of the
names.
year, yes,
They're chanting Govinda's name, saying Lopadosha
yes,
Prayashchitartham, right? Because there will be some
often,
mistakes in the
right,
process. So Govinda, please forgive.
right,
So
right.
finally, we're
Even
going to
I see
Govinda.
in,
We're
yes,
going to
Prabhu,
Govinda and saying, no, please, I might have done some mistake in this offering.
right,
If you even if your demigod is upset, you please kind of, make it up.
right.
Like,
Right,
so we should understand, if you want to do demigod worship, then we have to do it properly, right?
yeah. I
Yeah.
usually say learn more about that demigod from Shastra. So do like puja through
No,
mind.
you will
So
end up getting lost if you want to understand about demigods. It's not the right direction, because see, demigods have they are like so many scriptures talking about demigods, and some scriptures will say demigods are supreme, right?
okay.
Then where will
No,
you
no,
end up?
from Bhagavatam, Prabhu. From
Bhag
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam,
Like,
what will you find
Rudra.
out about different demigods? Only
No,
Rudra you will
actually,
find out.
Rudra Gita is there, and then Mother Kaliya, like Brahma Samhita, Mother Kali, So, like
No.
that.
Yeah, but that's not different scriptures. That is then okay. Then it is about you try to understand demigod's position reading Bhagavatam and Brahma Samhita. Okay, that's
Yes.
understandable, right?
Yes.
But see, the point I'm making is at least okay. See, there are some people who don't have complete understanding, or who are not like completely
Yes.
fixed on making. Their goal is not Krishna as such, right? Like parents, generation and all, we should leave them, because like my mother. I mean, in our house, for example, my mother wanted to
Yes.
do all this. I just put down my foot saying that, I am not going to do. You can do whatever you want. I have no problem.
Yes.
Don't force me to do anything. I'm not going to do. Right?
Yes.
And they were upset few years. No, they're okay, because they know that, this is what the path is. And now she
Yes.
doesn't even say. Of course, she might be feeling bad about it. But then
Right.
I also see it's okay to make somebody feel bad, but make them come to Krishna. Because now
Right.
she doesn't worship anybody else. Right? Now,
Oh,
maybe I might have hurt that person in the interim. Right?
right.
But now she doesn't go to anybody else.
Right.
Whatever happiness, distress, everything, she'll be like calling Krishna, Govinda. That's fine, no? That's what we want to achieve
Right.
finally.
Right. Right. Yes.
So a little bit of like parents, sometimes punish the child, right? So that they
Mm.
take the right path. So this is like that. Little bit of austerity with relations temporarily, but then it gets ironed out, because Krishna is the boss. He will manage everything for us.
Right.
But we should never, I mean, practicing devotees, we should never go down. We should not
Right.
go down for anybody. You see, this is very, very basic, right? Prasadam, worship,
Yes.
right? This is very fundamental to Krishna consciousness, because it just shows our faith in Krishna. If
Right.
we are doing anything to satisfy anybody, that means that we are not on the platform of full surrender to Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
That's all. Because Krishna is saying, you don't worry. You are worried that some papa will happen. I will take care of it. Don't worry. So and again, I'm not saying, I'm not prescribing saying that from just now everybody should stop, right? But I'm saying this Kevala Bhakti simply means that I'm simply doing things for the pleasure of Krishna. What is Krishna expecting from me? Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Is expecting me to give up everybody, everything else, and just depend on him and just worship him. Right? That's all. Now, for example, what I do is, like my sister, normally they do Ganesha festival, or and they call, right? So I tell, saying that, of course she's chanting 4 rounds, etc. So to encourage them in bhakti, I'll say, okay, so you do the cooking, I will come and offer it to Krishna, right? And then we will offer it to, we can offer as prasadam we are taking, we can also offer that to the demigods as Mahaprasadam, right? That's all. Right? But
Yes, Prabhu.
we are not offering directly to Ganesha or Shiva directly, right? Because clear. I mean, Krishna is very, very clearly saying Avidhi Purvakam. Again, see, again, a lot of devotees keep discussing with me, saying, no, we are not ready for it. No problem. We're not asking, we're not telling that everybody should be ready today, right? But this is the direction. This is where we have to get to, either today or tomorrow or whenever, right? We have to get to this state of completely depending on Krishna and having faith in his words. If Krishna is saying Avidhi Purvakam, if Krishna is saying Sarvadharman Pratyaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, why are we not having faith in his words? Yeah, Shruti Mataji.
వాఫల్ తినేసి వెళ్తురా ఎక్కడ
Okay,
Hare
Shruti
Krishna,
Mataji.
Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, Vamshi.
Prabhu, so in our family right now, it like, my father is not into complete Krishna consciousness, right? So he has his, I would say, his practices to demigods and maybe yearly visits, yearly rituals, visiting these temples, which are technically demigods. So how do we tackle that situations, Prabhu? Like, his expectation is all the family members should at least visit the temple at least yearly once, right? So can we still do that, or
You
what
only
is
should
the-
answer. You only should answer.
I mean, technically, like based on whatever we have discussed today, definitely not the case. We should not be. But I'm a little skeptical because right now we are 5 of us out of that 4 are into Krishna consciousness, strongly believing. But my father is like, he chants 1 round, 2 rounds a day, but he's not so much involved in any of the sevas or any temple visits, kind of a thing. So, or even on the sadhana side. So, I'm just trying to think aloud. Will that cause a trouble in a way that, okay, we are disowning him, or
Okay. So
it's
see, okay, you think another question. I'll put another question in your head and complicate it for you, right? What is the way by which you are going to get your father into Krishna consciousness? You don't have to answer now, but I'm saying think in those lines. Think in the lines of how do I get my father into Krishna consciousness more? What should I do which will enable him to come to Krishna consciousness more? So if you can do some give and take here, more than happy, right? So I've done all these kinds of stuff, so that's why I'm saying, right? Like I told before also, my aunt was very upset when I said I'm not going to eat food in her house. Then she said, what should I do? I said, you just stand 4 rounds. Now she's chanting 10 rounds. So give and take. So figure out, right? Don't let them go far away from Krishna. So do something that you can give and also take, which will bring them closer to Krishna. Okay, it's food for thought. It's not a recipe. It's not a prescription, right? So you have to think about it. Yeah, Radhika Mataji.
Prabhuji, as we know, today is Ekadashi and tomorrow is Shivratri. So today we are fasting, Prabhuji. Is it like tomorrow we have to break the fast?
Yeah,
And we
tomorrow we have to break the
continue,
fast.
or we have
No. Vaishnava tradition is we break the fast tomorrow.
Okay, Prabhuji. And no need to continue, Prabhuji. Fasting.
That's again same thing. I mean, if you want to do something for the pleasure of Shiva, then you can do, right? But again, it's the same thing, right? So we can pray. I mean, I pray to Shiva saying that please, such an exalted Vaishnava, and Shiva's great position is that he's Kshetrapal, he's protector of devotees. So we can pray to him saying that, please, I'm stuck badly, with your wife. He's like pulling me here and there, so please help me. So we can pray to Shiva to get us released from Maya, from Durga. We can absolutely pray, but yeah, if you feel like, for his pleasure, I don't want to eat half a day something, it's okay. But why Ekadashi Vrata has to be broken appropriately. And then if you want to, do some fasting for whatever, I mean, that's fine. That's up to you. But the intention should anyway be Kevala Bhakti.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I just want to know what is the difference between worship and prayers?
Worship means there's a process, like Vedas have given a process for worship. Worship is very detailed. Prayer is a simple, it's like just prayer means I'll just stand in front of, Lord, and I'll just say some words, which is expressing my position, right? But I might not like support it with, puja as prescribed in Shastra. It's just prayer. Prayer is simple, prarthana, right? Puja is mantra, then dhupa, deepa, pushpa, alankara. All this is worship, puja.
Archanam
Yeah.
becomes.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, you're talking about demigods, like in Braj also, like every Krishna temple you have
Shivji, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Kshetrapal.
Kshetrapal. And you have
Kshetrapal.
Durga and Durgaji's temple also. In one this thing you'll have Durga Mata somewhere or the other.
Yeah. I mean, there
And
are all.
all
I mean, there are all. There are followers of all demigods everywhere, right?
Hanumanji, Durgaji, Hanumanji is so prominent. Every nook and corner is Hanumanji, Shivji, Krishnaji. Every nook and
See,
corner has this.
devotee. Yesterday also somebody was asking this, right? See, devotees being there in the dham and we offering worship to the devotees like Shiva and Hanuman in dham are pure. I mean, they are just there's no other way we can look at them there, right? This is not for sense gratification at all. They are there like Hanuman is, like protecting the Jagannath Puri is high as seva. Like that, Shivji has seva in all the important dhams. So, which is absolutely fine, right? But other demigods, they are there because their followers are there everywhere. So that is okay. But why we should focus on what is the central theme, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like in Braj also you have such a big Shanidev temple which is worshipped.
Yeah, because all kinds of worshippers are there. No, all
Okay,
kinds of
so
worshippers are there.
okay.
See, that is why even in Braj, like what was all this apasampradaya? The apasampradaya, even though they are worshiping Krishna, they are doing it wrongly. Right? So then what about other forms of worship? They'll obviously be there, but we have to steer away from those and be clear where we should be connected with, right? Okay. Anything else? Okay. So anyway, I just want to clarify that I'm not pushing anybody in any direction, right? It's not. So don't mistake these to be any kind of instructions uh, or mandate. Not this is not mandatory. It's just in the direction of pure devotion. This is the mood. This is the path, right? Like I'll give you an example. Once in Gujarat, I was there, and my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, had come. We had gone to a place to take bath in Narmada. Then when Maharaj came out, actually, in that campus there was some kind of a sampradaya who was worshipping Vishnu or Krishna, and there was also Durga temple in the same premise, right? So what Maharaj did was he went there. First he went to the Vishnu temple, and then he sat there. Then there was somebody who was speaking with him for 5 minutes. He spoke all that, etc., etc. Then finished. Then he came out, even though they were not sampradaya at all, right? Just out of just pure respect for them. He was there, spoke to them, came out. Then he went to the Durga temple. He offered obeisances with right side, with Durga on his right, and came out. Right? This is etiquette. Etiquette is we don't disrespect. It's not like we go to a temple and we don't offer obeisances. If you go to the temple, we offer obeisances with the demigod deity on the right side, right? And respectfully pray that we can actually make progress in Krishna consciousness and come out. That's all. That is the process. We don't have to go, but if we go, we cannot disrespect and come out. Okay, hope it. Yeah, Chiranjeev, bro, you have a question.
Recently, one astrologer was saying that your Kuladevata is angry because you have not performed any sacrifice, which is the tradition you have broken.
Okay.
So I don't know what to do. I informed my parents, and I was not recommending, neither I am not denouncing it. So I was in a dilemma. Yesterday, I called Ramapriya Prabhu. I told him that this astrologers were saying like actually, I went on his recommendation. So then Ramapriya Prabhu told that just give Krishna Prasada to the Kula Devata, who is Gaurima, and she will be pleased. Gaurima is generally pleased with Krishna Prasada. So,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if demigod, somebody is upset means that that is for those people who have not come to Krishna and they have some Devarshi Bhutab Tanradam Pitranam, they have some obligation they are not fulfilling. But yeah, simple process for anything like that. First of all, we should not go to such people who will recommend any kind of demigod worship, be it of astrologer or if you go, then yeah, solution is Krishna Prasad. Just depending on Krishna. After that, if you think no, oh, how maybe they are still upset, then that means we think that they are more powerful than Krishna. That so then again, it's our faith. It's our faith. Okay, we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhishta Kripa Sindhu Bhevata Patitana Bhagavatam Sakoti Vaishnavanda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Dandavat.
Dandavat Pranam to everybody.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.